That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Bluedragonfive.
Dragon, what are we here to talk about this fine April 1st?
Well, I'll tell you. So we are, what we like to do when fate doesn't conspire against us on this day, which it has in the past. We like to celebrate April Fool's Day by kind of going through the Mark Hamills Trickster episodes, in correlation with the Flash, which we covered the CW Flash having brought back the Trickster, probably still my favorite episode of the Flash called Tricksters from the first season. We then we backpedaled to the genesis of the Trickster, which was the '90s Flash, the first appearance, which brings us to the second appearance, the final appearance from the last episode of the '90s Flash.
So this is basically like the end of the Trickster trilogy, if you will.
End of the trilogy. You and I, we might have. I'm not sure how to approach it because there's not enough Batman in it to necessitate it for the Batcave. So we might do one more installment of this, and then we'll be pretty much done. So.
All right. Well, Dragon, I got to tell you,
this is the live action ones, though. This is like all of them in live action. Yeah.
The Mark Hamill stuff in this episode is very, very fun indeed, and I especially like the fact that in this episode we get like a real mirror into Harley Quinn, which is very interesting. I feel like that's definitely a something that people would probably latch onto with this episode. But unfortunately, Dragon, I just don't know about this show just in general. I really don't find the love triangle element of it compelling at all. The side characters just seem to be very bland, generic, like, hey, we're all co-workers. We like Barry Allen, and we got our own thing. I don't know. It just... Keep in mind, I haven't seen much of this show outside of the Trickster episode, so I really don't know how good it is on an episode-to-episode basis. But on the Trickster episodes I have seen, the side characters, the supporting cast, they seem fine. They seem good enough, but like they really don't like. They seem like pretty bland, kind of like generic, stock characters for a '90s show like this. And that's really my big hang up with these Trickster episodes. Other than that, the actual Flash and Trickster shenanigans are great fun. I mean, of course, when the Flash joins forces with the Trickster Dragon, oh boy, like that's definitely some really entertaining wackiness right there. That kind of plays right into our sensibilities and sense of humor, Dragon. So I can see why you personally really like this. Like I said, I think I definitely enjoy all the Trickster bits and all the stuff where they're costumed up and there's zaniness afoot. All the talk of like relationship dynamics or move to San Francisco with me, Barry, and stuff like that doesn't really get me. But if I know anything about the CW show, I know that the Iris stuff is one of the weak points of that show. So it seems like this is just kind of maybe it's just a problem with the Flash in general. I don't know, but that's my take on it, Dragon.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's just bad luck in terms of, you've only seen 2 episodes, and I take it you didn't rewatch the first Trickster episode before this either, did you?
I actually did.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, yeah, regardless.
So okay. I was fresh up on my, because this carries over a lot of the love triangle and everything.
So that's the thing.
Parts I'm not really crazy about.
So just so you know, the love triangle thing, again, it's not as frequent as you think it might be. It's like maybe one more when we introduced that Megan Lockhart character and then the 2 Trickster episodes, and that's pretty much it for her. So,
but that's kind of funny because you're right. That is bad timing then, because literally the 2 episodes I saw, it seems like the love triangle is like kind of like a big will they, won't they that hinges the whole series.
Yeah, I mean the most they kind of get at that is that, okay, Barry kind of Barry likes that Tina McGee and they're really good friends, and like there's something that could be there, but they don't super dwell on it too much. It's just kind of there. It's like, okay, well, you want these crazy kids to get together, but maybe they will, maybe they won't. It's not a deal breaker. That's what I'm saying. It just seems to be more of like a, if you lived in the world a little bit more, perhaps like, oh, I like those characters. But yes, in a bottle, it's like, and here's just some kind of some wacky side filler.
right.
Like Julio's dating life. I don't really need to know about that.
yeah. Oh man. So but like I said, the actual when we're in costume and goofing around, it is great fun. So
yeah. So the episode itself, it was always sad to me this show only lasted one season, mainly because it was gearing up for a season two, which would have included more rogues, the classic Flash Rogues gallery, and them teaming up as they tend to do in season two and everything. Like at this point, they had very sprinkled it very lightly through the first season. Like you had Captain Cold, you had the Trickster, and you had Mirror Master, like very individually, in just a sea of kind of like the George Reeves Superman, like guys in business suits. But some of them were Bryan Cranston, so it was cool. That sort of thing. You just had like the guest star villain who, they're only so memorable depending on who they got. And anyway, so I always loved the Trickster episodes of 90s Flash for obvious reasons, because this is the closest we're ever going to see to Mark Hamill playing the Joker in live action. Let's be honest. Just a lot of fun there. So yeah, between that and just the production values of the show, and again, this was very ahead of its time for the '90s, and it was kind of like, if one could say, too ahead of its time, which is why it didn't last as long as it probably should. But let me just say, this is a show that we would have loved to have seen, kind of like do CW numbers in terms of like, let's give it like a giant handful of seasons. At least let's give it like the standard 5 instead of, I don't know, a bazillion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want any show to get a giant handful of seasons unless it's something like Survivor that can just go on forever, like a sport.
My point is, I think giving it more than one season, at least
try
it out
sure.
and see how it feels.
I feel like the formula is there, like 4 to 6. 4 to 6 is your sweet spot, man.
Yep. Where of course ultimately Breaking Bad just kind of set the mold. Like 6, that's 5, technically 6. That's as far as we want to push it.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, of course, just again, the stakes are a little bit more operatic here, which is great. Just again, with the production values and everything, which again is it's very much kind of like a Batman the Animated Series, kind of realized in live action with the Art Deco look and the lighting and the Shirley Walker music. Again, this show, so oddly, The Flash was very much a live action prototype for Batman the Animated Series, but very coincidentally, if you can believe it, it was not intended that way or directly modeled. They didn't look to the Flash at all when they were doing Batman the Animated Series, but it just ended up being like that. Like the Flash wraps up in '91, and Batman the Animated Series is in production in '91. It's so crazy how that works.
I gotta tell you, of the shows of the era that I've only seen a couple episodes of both these shows, but I'm probably a bigger fan of Lois and Clark.
Yeah, well, I've seen all of Lois and Clark. I can vouch for what in particular. What about it?
I feel like the side characters and the chemistry and the dynamic, it just feels like a more fun show. It feels a little less dated, and the dated parts are a little more charming.
Well, to be fair, Superman's characters are a lot more iconic and recognizable, like Perry White, the Kents, and Jimmy Olsen.
Well, that's very fair. Yeah, that's definitely fair.
Like those are like there's your archetypes for supporting characters. What do we got? Well, we got the boss, we got the little sidekick, and we got the parents. Okay, we're all good. Flash, not so simple, because sometimes depending on what version, it's like, okay, well, father's in jail, framed for murder by Reverse Flash, yada yada yada. You get it. The show did not do that, just in case you're wondering. So, on the whole, though, this ended up being the ipso facto finale for the series as a whole, and does have some final-esque kind of like season 1 wrap-up sort of stuff, which I think does kind of carry it away. The Flash's evolution from the vigilante and the pilot to being a superhero who's kind of embraced by the town by the end. It all kind of works out. I mean, again, I think the production values are kind of at their highest for the last go, and it was nice.
Uh-huh.
Let me give you a little bit of context here, just a little bit. So Mark Hamill, coming out of Star Wars, is kind of in that period, bleeding from the end of Jedi to the 90s. He, of course, Mark Hamill, just amazing in every facet. The man the man lives and breathes comics and comics history, loves it, particularly DC Comics, as you can probably guess. So basically, what happened is throughout the 90s, for his voice acting career and anything else he appeared in, his agent would book him these sweet fandom gigs, where it's like, hey, my guy here, Mark, he loves the Flash, the character, he loves the comic, and you put him on the show, and give him like a villain guest spot or something.
I mean, of course, he has like ultimate fanboy cred for Luke Skywalker.
Exactly, so that's the thing.
So what's cool about that? It's an actor who's kind of like leveraging the one-hit wonder status they have with the role, instead of like letting it define them. You know what I mean?
Which is always
instead of it being like, I was Luke Skywalker, and everyone's gonna think of me as Luke Skywalker. He's like, hey, fellow nerds, I'm Luke Skywalker.
See, that's the thing that always fascinates me about Mark Hamill, and that I did not give a crap that he was Luke Skywalker. All I cared about is he was the Joker from Batman the Animated Series.
Well, I give a crap that he's Luke Skywalker, but
no. I'm just saying, as a kid,
I think that there's a dichotomy there, right? I think he's equally impressive that he can do both.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It just fascinated me when I found out. Oh my god, because I just wasn't that into Star Wars as a kid. I was like, when I found out, oh my god, you mean to tell me that the Joker is Luke Skywalker?
That must have been a mind blowing moment for you, dude.
That's what I'm saying. That was my that was my twist, though, where I just did not, in terms of I didn't care about Luke. I didn't know about Luke Skywalker. I didn't really. Okay, so just Luke. I knew him as the figure. He's the guy with the blue lightsaber. Okay, well then green, but you get it. Anyway, so yeah, you're right. There was kind of a blank check for anything fandom related. He wanted.
Have you seen the Jared Leto Darth Maul meme?
No, I have not.
It's like the double-sided lightsaber, and on one side it's worst DC movie, and then on the other side it's worst Marvel movie.
Oh god, it does not bode well for Morbius.
No, I think I'm out on Morbius, Dragon.
All right, well, anyway, so point being, Mark Hamill's agent calls us, hey, my guy loves the Flash, he loves this sort of stuff, can you give him a guest spot? And, again, they book someone like a Cranston or somebody to play a villain on the Flash, and they think, hey, we love Mark Hamill as well, so let's give him a real honey of a role.
Patrick Warburton ever play a villain on the Flash by any chance?
Offhand, I don't think so. But
I'm just saying, like, he's of the era. He was involved in live-action comic book stuff of the time.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
All right.
I could be wrong.
That would have been fun.
I could be wrong. All I know is he wasn't like a main villain if he was there. I don't think.
So I'm just saying, even if he played like some thug or something.
No, does not call to mind. I think
a fellow Survivor player and rickshaw guy from Seinfeld, Jonathan Penner, ever play a villain on the Flash?
Okay, let's leave Penner out of this. So,
all right.
Anyway, so assumedly, and I don't know this for sure. I assume he was booked for both episodes up front once they confirmed. Like, hey, you want to play the Trickster? Do I? They probably. They definitely
imagine that's like his actual like beat by beat response. Do I?
Well, they probably offered him like a name character, and he said, Trickster? "Yeah, I love the Trickster, man. Yeah." So, assumedly, they booked him for both episodes in advance because they knew they wanted him for 12. I'm going to guess they wanted for another one. They just didn't figure it being like the last episode of the season. Again, assuming they were going to come back for more seasons, because they basically, after the second episode was made, they very much were like, hey, can you come back for a season 2? Which he was very on board for. But again, c'est la vie. So, this is a fun episode for John Wesley Shipp. He gets to kind of, be Trickster's partner in crime. He gets to, because the trouble of any leading man on any show is that, you play the white hat a lot. You want to play the dark side of it a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure the actor had a ball playing this because, generally speaking, Dragon, with all due respect, he seems like a pretty milquetoast Barry Allen.
I mean, again, he was
a respectable enough Flash, but like from what I've seen, a pretty milquetoast Barry Allen.
Let me put it this way: I think he's technically the most dated. He's super dated in terms of our '90s protagonists.
That totally makes sense, yeah. But seeing the Flash in the red suit just be all like delightfully evil and loving every minute of it, Dragon. Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
He plays it in the suit really good. That's the thing. When he plays the Flash.
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. So let's see. Also, it was a lot of commitment to be in a suit in those days. It's not like, they don't sew you in anymore. It's like, okay, he's like in a custom foam, like, like the weird, like velvety kind of thing on the red rubber. It's like a whole thing. Anyway, so it's like there's no, hey, you can unmask in every scene. There's none of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so so this episode was so big at a time before I remember for me, for Batman the Amimated Series, for example. I mean, I was on for years. I went without, the DVD sets, and it was like a desert you're walking, and it was like that with the Flash. So the only episodes that ever get like a physical VHS release were like the two-parter. Essentially, they mark it as like a TV movie of sorts. Where hey, both Trickster episodes, one VHS, come out now, kids.
Nice.
Yeah, and again, this was like 5 years after the show ended. It's like in '95 they're putting that out. This to show you the stay power that Hamill had as the Trickster. Everyone remembered that was the whole reason they remembered the show. Period. Like, oh my god, the guy was killing on the.
I could see that. I could see him being the absolute like pop culture tentpole of this thing.
Yeah. So ultimately, again, this it's really just serendipity what brings him to Batman the Animated Series. But again, the similarities to this and the Flash. Again, this is very much a proto Joker performance, which I can only assume unconsciously inspired how he played that role. Because again, it was a similar story. Hamill, his agent, like kind of did the
It's
same to.
literally the same story, Dragon. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, Mark, you want to play the Joker? Do
Well,
I?
okay, little different than that. Very close though. Very close. Essentially, what happened is, he wanted to come in for, hey, I love Batman. Can you get me on the show? And then they offered him part of because the Joker was Tim Curry at this point. Remember?
Oh wow,
So
that
that's the
would have been
thing.
wild.
Yeah, so Tim Curry was the Joker, and what they did is they put him as Ferris Boyle in Heart of Ice, and then he kind of got a chatting with Andre Romano after he learned, they want to replace Tim Curry. Can I come in for the Joker? He recorded it, and they loved him. And yeah, Mark Hamill basically forgot what he did, and I assume because of that, I'm going to assume what happened. The thing no one ever talks about with this story is that I assume because he forgot what he did, he just played it like the trickster, and it took him far.
That makes sense. That
Because he
makes sense.
did,
Kind of like refined it as he went.
yeah, exactly. He kind of forgot what he did in the audition, which I'm going to assume is either the trickster or something like the trickster, and he basically refined it into the Joker based on that performance. And I'm going to assume after he re-recorded the Tim Curry episodes they already shot, when they get into stuff like Joker's Favor and then all the season 2 stuff like Laughing Fish onward, Paul Dini's looking back on the Flash episodes they did now that he knows, hey, we're writing for Mark Hamill. Let me get, and that's where we get Prank. I think deep down that's where we get Prank and everything. Even though again, Prank is completely serendipitous because he's bombing after '60s Batman. But it's just, again, it's all relative. Is what I'm saying here. And lastly, so the CW Flash, wonderfully cyclical. Fate comes around there back when the Flash was good. They had, they brought Mark Hamill back as the Trickster in the episode I talked about, but also every time the Trickster came back, or when they couldn't get Mark Hamill, what they did is he had a son, Axel Walker, the younger Trickster, who played his son in that crossover. And in one episode, they brought in the mother, who was Prank. So they gave Prank and the Trickster a love child, which is Axel Walker.
Oh, interesting.
It was cute. They brought her back and everything. Like, hey, where's Mark Hamill? But still, it was really cool.
Uh-huh.
All right, there we go. Right. I think we're all caught up. Let's get into it.
All right, Dragon, this is a long one. Let's make this practice for the Better Call Saul recaps that are coming up. Let's try and crack this out as briskly as we can while still, celebrating all the comic goodness.
Okay, so
all right.
So yeah, no, this is like during like the rise of the showbiz trials, kind of literally pre OJ too. Like, he's way before '95, I think. So it's like we have the Trickster, like, is he nuts? Let's
Trickster merch, Dragon. Trickster merch.
Yep, they're selling the Trickster merch of like the big show trial for like essentially one of the few supervillains the Flash is going up against.
Come prove to your future grandchildren that you were part of this incredible event.
Yep. So let's see. So Zoe Clark, she wants in big time. Just very much kind of a serial killer groupie. Like, I want in. I'm carrying his child. We can carry him somewhere else. So let's say we have Joe Klein, played by the comedian Richard Belzer. He's basically expositing the first episode that we all saw, where Trickster he gets introduced. He got caught by Megan Lockhart and is on trial. That's about it. And let's see, the Trickster, of course, Mark Hamill is coming out in the full costume of his own insistence.
Mark Hamill is just a man who knows how to make an entrance, man. And, it's just like in that costume, he's just wonderful. It's, Dragon, what I love about it is with the costuming is that tell me this costume is not just straight out of like close your eyes and think of just the general aesthetic and vibe of like the early 90s. And that is this costume.
That it is. Not romanticized at all. It's like no, this is it. This is what it wears. Put it like a lanky.
It's
Mark
like
Hamill
early Nickelodeon just threw up all over a costume.
But again, that's exactly on. The Trickster's like a low rent Flash film. That's what you do. That's what it looks like. So again, just Trickster's hamming it up. Just he wants full press here, and he wants revenge on Barry Allen and Megan Lockhart. Let's see, and the Flash, just wonderfully hamming up. He'll pay the going rate 10 times over because nobody tricks the Trickster. His big catchphrase. All right, let's see. So Barry and Julio again. Julio, Mr. Basically the less interesting version of Cisco from the
I kind of picked up on that. Yeah,
you get the archetypes. There's always a team Flash of some variety. We have anyway. So, he fears the trickster is going to be getting off with kind of his big showy Denise Conway, the big show trial lawyer here, kind of our team OJ, as it were.
Uh,
Let's see. Klein's wants to interview Barry about things, and he's like, "Oh wait, screw Barry Allen. Who's this? It's Megan Lockhart." So the idea is that Megan, who's a private eye, she's got a lot of press because she apprehended a big time serial killer. Super like a serial killer turned supervillain, which is kind of a big deal. So her PI career has launched. I kind of question how much it would launch because of that, but we've seen Jessica Jones, so I guess it's within the realm of possibility.
but no, you're right. It's like she is very much just kind of like the local celebrity in the room. And I agree with you. Like, at least in this moment, it felt a little bit superficial. Like, oh, okay, the extras in this scene sure were directed to look excited when Megan Lockhart came around. I got that kind of vibe, Dragon.
I mean, more so, I just kind of question the logic. Really, I mean, would the person, wouldn't the Flash get all the attention? It would be the
That's
lady.
what I'm saying, man. It's like, all right, guys, we're kind of missing an important detail of this.
Yep.
All right. Anyways, I'm glad we're on the same page about that.
So that's what I'm saying. Looking back on this one, as much as I do love this for the obvious reasons, like, yeah, some of our connective tissue,
I think the connective tissue with the side characters is absolutely the weak point of this. Yeah.
I'll admit there is one thing in the scene we're about to talk about that involves the trickster that I will say that I kind of like on the rewatch, like, yeah, maybe not as great as I recalled, where we have we have James Jesse making a scene, and his lawyers. The acting on the lawyers, maybe a little too campy. Maybe we could have pulled back the lawyer.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this, the acting on the show, just in general, like, ranges from very subdued to very over the top, so I never quite know what to make of any one performance.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this
outside of the fact that we obviously love Mark Hamill, it's like with Mark Hamill, I feel like it's honestly like a bias sort of thing on some extent.
I mean, sure, but again, like there's Mark Hamill. One of the things to highlight is with the guy in general is that Mark Hamill and Bruce Campbell, these are guys cut from the same cloth in terms. These are guys who are like true blue actors. Who it's a crying shame they never like. I don't think Mark Hamill, aside from Star Wars, has ever gotten a leading role since. And I think that's a shame. And Bruce Campbell, very similarly. Bruce Campbell usually when he gets a leading role, it's something like Bubba Hotep, which is great, but exactly.
Apparently, Evil Dead is going to be one of the Halloween Horror Nights mazes that I'm going to do this year at my first Halloween Horror Night. So
make sure you say groovy a lot.
I'm going to have to do some research on it. I'm not sure if it's like the first movie or the first movie and the second movie.
Well, if he's there, it's probably going to be the second movie.
That's what I'm picturing. Yeah. Anyways.
All right. Anyway, point being, so yeah, you have like to the lawyer's dismay about like he's just Jesse's making a lot of trouble here. Restrained? What do you think these are? Costume jewelry?
Oh, God.
So he's like he's going for the full court press here. He's insisting on being in the costume. He swipes like his lawyer's brooch and he's picking the cuffs. Again, the lawyer's a little over the top. It's like, Jesse, just the idea she's been driven nuts defending this guy. It's like the wear's really showing here. So she demands a different venue for the trial, which sets the trickster off here. Like, no, you can't take me away. I love this town, and it loves me.
I mean, I feel like that's just kind of him, like, just full bore with the media thing.
Yeah, and he's pulling some Pacino in the courtroom here. It says, contempt? I mean... You're in contempt. This whole courtroom's empty. North America, the landmass is in contempt.
Oh, God.
So it breaks free, and now it's funny when they shot this. Mark Hamill actually injured himself. One take, his little court jestery shoes, they got caught on the little railing of the witness box. He jumped out, so he just fell right on his
jeez.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole sandwich. He basically jumps over the thing and tries to strangle Megan Lockhart. But doesn't go well. She beats the tar out of him. And Zoe, wacky Zoe, she ain't happy about that.
Wacky Zoe.
Wacky zany Zoe.
Oh, God.
Oh, that zany Zoe, that crazy Clark, she ain't too happy about that. Anyway, so meanwhile, Barry Allen and Tina McGee, well, this is kind of nice and pleasant. They're just having lunch together.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not particularly compelling compared to everything else.
was saying it's kind of nice. Like, look, I'm just kind of casually, just kind of chatting, having lunch, kind of rounding out the exposition, saying, "Hey, it's been a year since we started the show."
Fair enough.
Anyway, so again, we just kind of hit that. Flash has become a hero. His food budget has increased because he has to eat so much, and we see a fame has definitely been changing Megan, who is ridiculously clueless about like how much it's changed her. All right, let's see. So, meanwhile, Trickster's arguing with his lawyer in his cell. He's got the whole,
The string.
Yes, I love the. It has like the string and everything, and I love he's like in the
Uh-huh.
cell, like playing with the string and everything, and he's kind of basically almost about to defend himself here. He's like, "Don't be a fool. I can't help it." So he gets a bunch of fan mail from Zoe Clark that essentially warns him that she's going to break him out.
And she is a very industrious girl because this is a ton of mail, Dragon.
Yes, indeedy. Oh yeah, I mean, plus like the whole, I love like the whole like array of like photos, like prank. I'm going to break you out or something along those lines. So then we have next day. So James Jesse's dressed like in a suit and everything this time.
Which is honestly like by far the most unnerving costume that we see Mark Hamill in throughout these 2 episodes, I
That's the
think.
thing. Rarely do we just see Mark Hamill dressed as like a straight arrow. So rarely do we ever
That's
see
what I'm
that.
saying, man. And knowing that he is a psychopath underneath it all, it's kind of like the softball version of the one shot we get in The Dark Knight of the Joker without makeup.
Little bit, yeah. Also, gotta admit, looks rather dapper like that, though. You gotta give him points there.
He does, but like I said, the fact that we know we're dealing with a psychopath and the character just makes it like, yeah, he looks dapper, but god damn it, I don't want psychopaths to look dapper. That'll catch me off guard. That's not a good thing.
Oh, for sure. So he appeals to the court, being the judge
Right.
here. We have Zoe as secretly as the stenographer, as the clerk, typing away there. Let's see. So he plays the sob story there about like, I had to do all those bad things, and Barry's just rolling his eyes. Let's see. So anyway, so what happens is there is a laughing gas dispersing teddy bear. Again, the Joker parallels just they write themselves. So we have like a teddy bear that disperses laughing gas per Zoe there, and essentially, the bailiff sacrifices himself to save the lawyer, which again, pretty admirable. Again, even amidst the silliness. Yeah. So let's see. Like Jesse was like too weak against his urges to kill and everything, and laughing gas is breaking up the place, which allows for an escape. Thanks to Prank there, they escape. Flash unable to stop them. Then we check in at Clark's Toys.
All right, so this is a really fun location.
Yes, it is. Oh, it's such a perfect location. So Zoe Clark, apparently, she inherited her father's toy store, which gave her all the wacky trickster-esque gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
So perfect base for all this to go down. And again, if you wanted any more like kind of like ambiance of 90s, you know what plushies we got in the place?
Oh God.
Tiny Toons.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nice little tie-in with the Warner Brothers of it all.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. So of course, Jesse realizing, oh, Clark's Toys, I love your stuff. The GI Johnny and the OMA one-man army gun with seriously, I swear to you, ever since I heard it, I've never forgotten the one-man army gun kind of sell from Jingle All the Way. When he goes back there. This was the first when I watched it. This was the first time I ever saw what it looked like because I never looked into the commercial. Like, oh my god, this looks awesome! No wonder he wanted that toy. Look at that. It's got a knife on there. It's got the whole. Oh, it's amazing.
No, it's great. It's great. Yeah.
So the prop design in this whole place, the set dressing looks wonderful. Anyway, so basically Zoe is saying here that that she's a kindred spirit. She loves a thrill. Theft, arson. Kidnapping, that sort of stuff.
I mean, this is the type of thing. Like I said, Dragon. What do you think of the Harley Quinn mirror of it all?
Well, that's the thing. It just astonishes me that this was again. I know this was not I know that Dini was not directly inspired by this, but it's just so crazy, like how on the money this is. This is absolutely a prototype for Harley Quinn, yet not technically being that. It's wonderful.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like in some ways, I think she's almost even more compelling than Harley Quinn because she's a little bit Nolanized in the sense that it's like a more real world explanation of like why this would happen.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of it's more faded than it is like she's gonna meet him in Arkham. Like I don't know, it's like
Right,
there's
right.
something like so the Nolan Eyes thing you're getting at. I really think is like yeah, it's like a real life thing where serial killers attract crowds and fan
That's what I'm
mail, and that's
saying.
where
That's what I'm saying.
that's
Like the
yeah.
whole thing with women finding Ted Bundy sexy and all that shit.
Yeah, so that's the thing. There's your real world grit in there for you. It does make it even
Yeah.
scarier by that logic. Yeah, in Joker's case, it's more like Hannibal Lecter, which don't get me wrong is great, but that's a little bit more based on a work of fiction that is then adapted. So this is like very real world, very scary because of that. Yes, but yeah, so it's great, and of course we have like a really great explanation for where the Trickster's going to get all his goodies. She inherited a toy store. It all
Uh-huh.
tracks. So she reveals the prank costume, and this is another really cool psychological thing we're doing here, where again she's adopting the look that basically he put Megan Lockhart in this outfit in the first
She
episode.
cannot stand Megan Lockhart. And I think Dragon, let me just say this. I think her disgust for Megan Lockhart is easily the most fun thing we do with the Megan Lockhart character throughout these two episodes.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, Megan Lockhart, the low rent version of Jessica Jones. Let's be honest.
Oh, I think low rent is putting it nicely,
No,
honestly.
it is. I'm just
She's
looking
like
for.
the dollar store version of Jessica
Well,
Jones.
there you go. Sure.
The
Of course, not a remotely.
Shasta Cola version of Jessica Jones, I like to say. It's not even Diet Jessica Jones, it's Shasta Cola.
There you go. Okay.
All right, anyways.
Anyway, so I'll admit though, she does have a good introduction episode, which you have not seen. So I'll say that much for her.
Fair.
Like she actually figures out who the Flash is. It's like, okay, well she's smart. Anyway, so we revealed the prank costume. Basically, she's taken like Megan Lockhart, that tramp. She used this against you. I'm going to be the prank you always deserved. And all of this happening as he's like,
She hates Megan Lockhart like Norma Bates hates Norman's boy girlfriends.
yes, absolutely, for sure. It's like, hey, you can hang out with Emma because she's dying. That's okay. But anyway,
Oh God.
that's a no. Anyway, so basically, she's Trickster's contemplating abandoning the identity because remember, James Jesse, his whole thing is he had number one. People have argued he's had a number of personalities, or at the very least, he's changed his identity many times with like a different gimmick. He appeared like as a magician the first time, and he's thinking, well, maybe I'll abandon the Trickster and be Vladimir Chetskinsky. And
But she ain't having that, Dragon.
oh no! She goes over there, and again, she stole Megan's Harley Quinn suit essentially with the prank outfit, and then we have a real, true blue Mad Love moment. It even predates Mad Love, which is crazy. And at this moment, I love how Hamill plays this moment. Tiki, he plays it so perfectly. And the music, Shirley Walker scored the biggest connection. Batman the Animated Series, Shirley Walker and Danny Elfman did. Danny Elfman wrote the theme. Shirley Walker wrote the score for all the episodes. Kindred spirits, love it. So just adding like this element of there's an absurdity, yet there's like an operatic passion to the scene where he says, prank, prank, and he just goes to strangle her in the second instant. It's so Joker and Harley Quinn. It's perfect.
Totally.
So basically, this gives him the ego boost that he needs for a new plot, and she can get him anything he wants, which includes a turbo-powered scooter. Which is going to come in handy.
One quick note I have with this turbo powered scooter is that I love how Hamill just like kind of like sneaks behind the crate and then emerges from the crate, like obviously goes through a back door or something.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
I don't know. That was just like a fun little filmmaking trick I noticed.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right.
So he's got the ego boost he needs. He's going to put Central City and the Flash on trial, and he's not taking any prisoners. No prisoners, and pass no bills. All right, so we're at the Infantino Hotel, which is a cute Easter egg to Carmine Infantino, the man who created the Silver Age Flash.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good old Infantino. So, yeah.
Megan Lockhart's phone is just ringing off the hook, Dragon.
Which again, I'm having a little trouble buying. Okay, so she's that big a celebrity. She's
I know, man. I know. I mean, I think it's easily the weak point of the episode, don't you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The relationship stuff with Megan, I think, was a lot better in the first part than it was here in the first, Trickster
I
episode.
agree. I agree because at least in that first part, like I'm never a big fan of love triangles or anything, but like at least in that first part, they didn't have to come up with BS reasons why she's, not spending any time with Barry.
The only reason she's in here
Because
is for the.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
think the only reason she's in the episode is for the prank stuff. Otherwise, she would not be in the
I
episode.
was gonna say because it like why even have her in the episode if she's just gonna be like avoiding Barry the whole time?
Exactly.
All
So
right.
anyway, then she's making her offer like, "Hey, come to San Francisco with me," and it's like, "Hey, he's trying to work with you on this, and you're refusing police protection. Like, what's the deal, man? Come on."
Barry's just like, okay, I could totally see the DC animated universe Justice League Barry being like, they put broccoli on pizza in San Francisco. Man, I'm not going there.
Oh yeah, I could absolutely see that.
They ruined pizza.
God.
And it's close to Oakland too, and I don't want to go there either.
Okay.
Oakland's a bad place.
All right. As we've discovered. Okay.
Yes, it's a very bad place, Dragon. You don't want to find yourself there, especially if you're a 12-year-old child.
Okay. Anyway, so we're at the news building, WCCN, which this is a really great. This is creepier than I remember it being. Where the Trickster, I completely forgot about this. Trickster is made up because he did a little bit of disguise work in the first episode. They kind of went full tilt with that here. He's made up completely and impersonating Richard Belzer's Klein character, the newsman, and he looks like him, but just a little off though, and I love that. He's doing it's a pretty good impression there. Just while he's interviewing a dead guy, a dead man, he's probably made up to look like a ventriloquist to make some ventriloquist jokes, which is creepy and cool. They basically is using this kind of 89-esque to in an 89 way to call out. He calls out Speedo, aka the Flash, for a duel. Calls him out for a duel. Calls him there, which takes a ridiculously long time for the Flash to get there. By the way,
It does. Yeah.
It's like, really? You mean to tell me you and Meg got there at the same time? Really? It took you that long? I don't buy that at all. Anyway,
all right.
Okay, it's point everyone's tied up. They both have taken the bait. The bait being a sneezing dummy of the Trickster, which causes him to sneeze. We have some super speed sneezes going on there. Then we have like Prank, throwing some razor sharp chattering teeth on Meg. Now, I got about Tiki. I love the production values of this show, but admittedly, yeah, the chattering teeth.
I like the idea of the chattering teeth as weapons. In execution, yeah, you're right. It doesn't look great.
That's the thing. When she opened that box, I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be cool." And it's like,
yeah. I hear you.
They're barely chattering. What's going on?
I know.
Just lay it down. We just dump teeth on her.
It's literally like they just threw some teeth on her, like some novelty store teeth, and just called it a day and got the shot. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
I don't know, Dragon. That's the thing, is that with this show, it's like they can go all out sometimes with stuff like costuming and production, but other times there's moments where it's like very distinctly like, oh yeah, this was shot on a 90s TV budget.
Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. I heard that this at the time this was like the most expensive show they shot for a while.
But again, it's still a 90s TV budget.
I agree. So then we have a lot of really good stuff that's happening here as the Flash pursues here. So let's see. The Flash is in pursuit. By the way, Trickster's wearing his body armor, like the kind of the upgrade kind of body armor suit. That looks kind of cool. What do you think of like that compared to the bodysuit?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Okay, let's see. So this is a clever idea to me that the Trickster and Prank get into this retrofitted kind of new Trickster mobile of sorts, and it's like a Palooka gum truck. And the sticky gum adhesive, basically it's an epoxy mixed with chewing gum that spurts out the back like an oil slick, and it traps the Flash. And oh my lordy, I love this. It's like, yes, that's
it is really cool. Like it's also, Dragon, like I can imagine it really appeals to 90s kids just because again, you have the Trickster in that like ultimate kind of like early 90s aesthetic, and then like I feel like big wads of bubblegum and piles of bubblegum and stuff like that were kind of like a trope of 90s cartoons. So I kind of have that energy here
for sure. And again, this came after this, mind you, but I haven't seen like the old giant giant spattering of bubblegum traps since Inspector Gadget 2. Yeah. So anyway, so I love this too because the Trickster in animation, he's always made the joke about like basically this is how we would always get the Flash. So seeing him do that is really funny.
That's cool. That's cool.
So that's really neat. Anyway, so the Flash again, he runs after him, then he falls like bam right into that suit. It's a real pain in the butt to shoot, by the way, because again, you have them in the fancy red suit. You only have so many of them. It goes through a lot to sculpt another one, so it's going to be covered in the gum they're never going to get out. It's a whole thing. just a mess. So then the Trickster, awesomely, he throws out these shoes. He kind of steps into the shoes, into the gum, so it doesn't get stuck. Mallet grabs a mallet and then bam, knocks him out. And Prank's asking, well, are we going to kill him? And he's like using his head as a puppet pretty much.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, I have something much more interesting in mind. Right, old buddy? Right. Okay, right. Here we go.
And then enters the most entertaining part of the episode.
Oh, yes. So, the Flash wakes up, strapped to a chair with basically electrodes and a helmet. Essentially an electric chair that's kind of a cross between that and Clockwork.
As we see in our delightful little thumbnail here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. So we have the Trickster in a doctor getup, which is the most terrifying image you could ever imagine. This guy's going to be your doctor. Like, oh, God. Oh, God.
And Prank as the nurse is not much more comforting either, Dragon.
And again, little mad love. With the dentist.
Totally. Yeah.
The dentist and the nurse. So, good morning, sunshine. Then, of course, he's pulling the old little Fred Rogers here. It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Okay, this is just Mark Hamill's being wonderfully wagging. And again, the thing I was getting and kind of hoisting Mark Hamill up earlier, as we are wont to do, is again the energy this man brings into a role is inhuman, and we love him for it. Just like the sheer amount of the man is a living cartoon. Almost as much as Jim Carrey, one could say, just more in the voice and the performance than it is like full on rubber body.
Sure.
But yeah, as the man brings the energy of the cartoon character in there. So, let's see. Then the Flash gets an up close look at how I thought Megan was Prank, and she just grabs no, Prank, me, I'm Prank, and don't you forget it. So, okay, so she tries to unmask him. This is a big moment. It is a very
this is one of my favorite moments of the episode where it's the Trickster, he doesn't lose a beat, Dragon. He's still smiling and happy-go-lucky and, basically on top of the roll. But he's like, Prank, if you do that again, the Flash is the mask. Without the mask, he would cease to be. So if you try to take off the mask again, Prank, I'll murder you. Okay.
So again, it's so much like the DNA of Mark Hamill's Joker is in this moment. This is full on. This is the whole Batman Joker dichotomy in one moment. But again, a little retrofitted to Flash and Trickster, just a little bit more. It's a wonderful prototype in that regard. In that it's again, surely this is the kind of stuff that when Paul Dini's writing Man Who Killed Batman, I'm sure at this point he'd look back on the Flash series to get kind of okay, this is exactly where we want to go with this. Where he just very seriously and very compellingly says, "Don't. He is the mask. Without, he's nothing more. He's nothing. Not a zip." And basically what he does is
that is absolutely Hamill Joker's attitude towards Batman to a T.
Yeah, you unmask him. That's the only time you unmask Batman is only at the very end when he's about to die. That's the only time you ever do that. It's okay, well, I've satisfied that curiosity. Let's kill him now. And what I love, though, here's the layer with the Trickster, though. It's kind of cool, is that he relates it to himself. You get a sense that when he's talking about, what the Flash is without the anonymity that makes him something to aspire to and aspire to beat. It's it's basically why James Jesse keeps changing personalities and why he keeps throwing out new gimmicks and new people. Without the Trickster or a new gimmick, he is the sad sack alone with cats. Just watching game shows in an empty apartment with cats.
Yeah.
It was really funny too. After the whole do it again, I'll murder you. Okay,
I'll murder you.
There's women. Right.
Oh God.
So anyway, so again, so basically, we do kind of the one thing that we can never do with Batman the Joker, where the Joker kind of wins here, and where in this case, the Trickster, he brainwashes
Yeah,
the Flash.
can you see freaking the Batman the Animated Series Batman brainwashed and working for the Joker Dragon?
You know what's funny? Batman, no, but there is a two-parter from Spider-Man the Animated Series where Doc Ock does this to Spider-Man.
I'm not surprised. I can see it.
But yeah, so never though, never would I see that with the animated Batman. Never. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of the cool thing about this episode. This is one situation that is absolutely specific. You could do this with the Flash. Plus, we've seen
totally.
We've tampered with the Flash's brain before, so this is absolutely something we can do. All right. So so the last thing I want is you dead. Fingers crossed. Just the right amount of like, oh god, what could happen? So he basically brainwashes Flash Clockwork Orange style into being his buddy, his partner in crime here, which is going to make Prank insanely jealous.
And I love that essentially all he wants is a friend. You're right.
Yeah.
Like a partner in crime, sure. Extra muscle, sure. But Dragon, at the end of the day, he wants a friend.
Which is delightful, you know, and
I want to tell you about my best friend. Oh god.
Right. So anyway, so the so I love that he's again very kind of Joker Harley Quinn-esque. You know, he just abandons Prank instantly as soon as he has.
And that's the thing that that's very much kind of like where I think sentimentality does have some sort of root in his plan here.
It's guy stuff,
right?
We're gonna make this city pay with the help of my pal. The Flash.
The Flash.
Love like the tooth-filled, like the Flash. Plays it so Andy Griffith
oh man.
The Flash.
But hey, boy. All right.
Anyway,
bye.
Okay, so long story short, Megan Lockhart, she goes to Tina for help. Walks her through what happened, and basically it's a mea culpa for earlier. I'm sorry, I was a little caught, high on my own supply of my fame and fortune at the moment here. Mea culpa. Calls, basically, we formulate a plan to save. We got to find Barry here, essentially. What's happening? So,
we got to find Barry so we can tell him to run.
Wrong show.
I know.
But basically, she calls out.
Barry won't know to run if we don't tell him to.
Anyway, we call out. Barry likes Tina McGee, and like that's why he stayed in Central City. Which again, they're like, hey, end of the first season, maybe let's get these two crazy kids together. In season 2, it's never going to happen. All right, so then we have Trickster entering on his scooter, which has like rockets and a giant clown head on it. And Trickster would just, again, here's the realism. It makes it a little scary. You're shooting up a movie theater with Uzis.
Yeah, and of course, anything DC related is shooting up a movie theater right now.
Now, not so great. Also, I like that he's painted a mask on his helmet.
That is fun. Yeah.
And you'll notice he does this with all the Trickster mobiles. He paints the windshield to look like the mask.
And so I love how the cop is just really caught off guard by the Flash's. First of all, I love the stylish boots that are part of this brainwashing scheme, Dragon.
Yeah, because remember, when he got stuck in the thing, he had to take him out of the boots. So
I don't know. Those boots, man, like, I would rock those boots, honestly.
I don't think... Are you sure about that?
Yeah. And a Halloween Horror Nights or something.
I thought you were saying, like, on the regular.
No, not on the regular, but I'm saying, like, if the event called for it,
Oh, you don't seem like a boot guy to me, but okay.
I'm not, generally speaking, but I think those boots look really good.
All right. Okay, let's see. So anyway, as the Tricksters stirred up mischief here, and again, these two cops that show up, these are like the cops throughout the whole series. Like it's Bellows and Murphy, and Bellows actually in the Flash TV show they named the mayor. I believe it's the same actor too. They have like Mayor Anthony Bellows, who was in that first CW Trickster episode we talked about. So it's all cyclical. A lot of deep pulls, anyway. Fun stuff. So, again, Trickster's stirring up trouble. Flash is also causing a lot of mischief in his new boots. Look at him in his little boots. Flash, basically breaking all these parking meters at super speed with a wrench, and he's having just a blast with the Trickster, and their dynamics is a lot
So
of
what I
fun
love
here.
about the Flash stuff in this episode is that he's really just kind of doing just kind of like bare bones, like juvenile delinquency and vandalism.
Yeah,
You know, it's like he's not really doing anything that's too serious.
Yeah, he's not hurting anyone. He's almost hurting.
And I
people,
feel like that's like a great kind of like middle ground to have the hero turn bad without it, without it having to have like any sort of big, like long lasting ramifications for the heroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's also, one could say, again, for the later plot point, it's that, he's subconsciously not trying not to hurt anyone or maim anybody. Yeah. So let's see. Then we have so every time like there's like a con or like an interview or something, John Wesley Shipp, the big line he pulls from the Flash because must have had such a fun time on this episode is the bullets line. So he basically so one of the
I could just tell that bullet like literally I have in my notes like that's got to be a meme.
Yeah, that's pretty much like that's
it feels like a meme, Dragon.
Let me put it this way: if anyone's ever asked John Wesley Shipp at a con or something, what's your favorite moment from the Flash, or what's your favorite line from the Flash? It's going to be, "It's not bullets, it's not guns that kill people. It's these little hard things.
These little hard things."
He loves it. It's these little hard things. He's throwing the bullets at super speed at Bellows and Murphy. It's just really cool. It's really cool. Let's be honest. It's like, oh god.
And then I love how the Flash and Trickster are literally just like high-fiving each other and just having the time of their life.
They're kids. They're big kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and again, this Wesley Shipp just having fun being mischievous here, and it's seeing he's got the whole hey, you got a match, and they blow up some fireworks, which then escalates into dynamite. All right, let's see. So, Prank's being left out of the fun, like when they go off to the side there. It's like, like Prank's like look, trying to jump over their shoulder and everything. Hey, what about me? Like, hey, forget about the ball and chain. Let's.
Oh God! Just the Flash, just blatantly calling a woman a ball and chain prick.
Oh yeah. So let's see. So meanwhile, Lieutenant Garfield, who was a good boss, by the way, he was good stuff. No Perry White, but he was.
Yeah, I have written down in my notes. He's like, just kind of like average pseudo Perry White type.
Yeah, so basically he's just like, oh, there's chaos in Central City, this crime spree with the Flash going, put an APB at him, yada yada. Meanwhile, so we have like the Central City sign turned into Tricksterville. So this is really fun, this kind of Flash mischief. He's in super speed, he completely paints over the sign, Tricksterville. And then the Flash is like, I love this. He's going like really. He's intimating some dark Reverse Flash-esque stuff, but it's just such a fun exchange. The whole he's just crazy. Like, hey, what if I vibrate my fingers through someone's brain?
Oh God! Right.
Gross. Maybe later. We're gonna paint the town red, and he was just spraying a little red spray paint. Very cute stuff. Anyway, so Tina's got a plan to fix the Flash. Basically hit him with some adrenaline and give him like kind of a reboot in the old brain, and that'll help him regain control. If that doesn't work, she doesn't know what will. Mm-hmm. Back at the toy store, the girls find Prank. Prank is somewhat of a decoy, just kind of sitting there. Whether she's been double-crossed or not, who are we to judge? With the fun little sign says "nag, nag, nag." It's right next to Megan's picture.
All right. Oh my God. Like now we get to the court stuff, Dragon. Yes, oh God, it's so fun.
So again, another precursor to a big famous Joker thing from the
animated
series.
Oh, for sure. Oh, like there is so much Joker stuff in this episode. It really is crazy.
One of the great Batman the Animated Series episodes, Trial, in which you had Judge Joker. I'd like to thank Dini at this point. That's like in season 3. So at this point, he had to have looked back on the Flash show at this point.
Oh.
So, oh God. So just Trickster's revenge trial going on here as we go full circle to our start, where he brings back everyone from the trial, the judge, his lawyer, and the prosecutor, and just the Trickster in the robe with a giant wig with little hair colored kind of spray paint in there.
Again, right out of the 90s, like 90s tie-dye.
Oh yeah, yep, and of course he cues the music, which is not the People's Court theme, but the Looney Tunes theme. I love it. I love how he's conducting with the gavel.
He is.
It's great. Will the accused come on down? And of course, Flash flashes the bailiff. He brings them all down there. And I love this. He fires his lawyer. Did this crack you up as much as it did me? Where he tells his lawyer that she's fired, and the Flash just being like, just just being like the crunk of henchmen. It's just, ah.
Totally.
Just turns and says, ha. Just really funny to me. Anyway, so basically they're being brought up against on crimes against good taste, and the Trickster, and the Flash, representing the jury, sentences them, which basically is him at super speed running the 12 spots, saying guilty.
Guilty.
And in different voices too, guilty.
God.
And they're sentenced to death. And this is a black comedy moment, but it's so darn hilarious. So the Flash, our hero, in this mind controlled state, just saying, the Flash is the executioner. Is there a problem? I just can't decide. He's holding like a hangman axe. He's holding like a shotgun. He says, no idea. I just can't pick.
Uh-huh.
And that's why they call me the hanging judge, says Hamill in his best old prospector. All right, so there's a big moment here, and we're bringing back the pathos into things where the Flash, he cannot bring himself to kill the judge. He just can't do it. Like, what's wrong, Palomino? What's got you? He just can't. An attack of conscience. I should have expected this sooner or later. And this is just really sad, too, is the fact that the Trickster, he knew at some point he was not gonna do something he was gonna say, and he was gonna shoot him at that moment in time. He's just getting ready to shoot the Flash. The girls come in, say
right, in spite of all like the best friends forever stuff. Like we practically could have had a montage of Flash and Trickster being best friends in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what the funniest thing about this is, Tiki, is that when come the animated version of these two characters meeting, there is a genuine friendship there. It's not just like a manipulated mind control. There's an actual friendship between these guys, which is really endearing.
Interesting.
Which is crazy how that works. So so anyway, so Megan and Tina arrive. Megan like shoots the gun out of his hand the last second, and also like basically tries to kill him, but thankfully he's wearing that that bulletproof vest underneath. Like take a step back, Megan, a little bit there. Come on. Anyway, we don't want to kill Mark Hamill. We hate it when that happens. So, let's see. So, Tina reasons with the Flash. Doesn't even have to use the adrenaline because he likes her deep down. He likes her, as the 90 kids would say. Let's see. So then Trickster takes a hostage with a bomb and he makes a run for it. Tina rewired the scooter so it blows up, but Prank arrives with Plan B, which is a grand set piece, and this is why the show was expensive, Tika. This is all done practically. This looks rather impressive.
Uh-huh.
So Prank shows up with essentially the Great Trickster Escape Mobile, which is a great.
Yeah, I love this idea for like a villain mobile dragon, just like a whole trailer full of other cars.
And they're all rigged to blow up, and just basically like giant bombs at your disposal. You unleash them and blow them up. So the Flash gives chase, and he gets blown up from a distance, which again, rather impressive effect. And then we have like he gets in there and like the multi. I'm sorry, real quick. Yet another Mad Love kind of moment here, like in the car before the Flash gives chase even further. Is that he's saying the Prank like. She says, I love you, man. He says, I'm no good for you. And how can I miss you if you won't go away?
That is so Mad Love.
Yeah, and he shoves her out of the car after she's just saved his bacon.
Uh-huh.
So then, so the Flash gives chase and he's dropping the bombs, and then basically Flash gets in the front of the car, and we have this multi-fuse, almost like a handkerchief gag, like multi-fuses on like a big old bomb that goes off, and it's not like a Michael Bay explosion that happens, folks. There's a logic to it this time where Flash takes Trickster out of the car, but we still have to shoot that explosion. So what we do is we blow up every individual car, so it's just a giant practical inferno, which looks amazing.
Yeah, totally.
And then we have this one actually we can connect the dots with. Joel Schumacher did go to this episode, so the ending of this episode with the Trickster absolutely informed the ending of Batman Forever.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole Riddler in the cell in the Arkham. So this Trickster is in a padded cell, and I've always loved this. I wish the episode really just ended here personally. I wish it kind of ended here and still like the little coda at the end. But it was like just Trickster in a padded cell with that pinkish purple lighting going down there. Again, very, very 90s lit, very good. Just like, they think a padded cell can stop me. This is my polyfoam fortress. Oh boy, they're in for a big surprise because nobody tricks the Trickster. Nobody. So just great, and just a wonderful kind of final note to hit with him. And oh god, just there's a memorable villain performance for you. Then we have a little thank you code of like, oh, thanks for helping out. Come to San Francisco, you ever change your mind? And then just Barry and Tina there, just kind of like just saying, oh well, it's this is home essentially, and we have like the Flash running by the sign that now says Central City, home of the Flash, which is
that is a nice a nice touch. I will say that I do think that having that little epilogue of the relationship stuff, it's not really needed. I guess it's good that it's there considering that's the last episode. Yeah. But I do like the going out on the like home of the Flash. That does seem like an appropriate little, like, if you got to end it somewhere, there's worse places to end a series than it on that note.
At the end of the day, Trickster's in the cell, and the Flash as well is still in good graces of Central City. They're calling it his home, and he's not going anywhere. That's a nice way to end it.
Right. All right. Okay, so Dragon, I mean, my opinion hasn't really changed on the side stuff, but again, I do think all the Trickster stuff in this episode is really great, and it is just kind of crazy how much it mirrors the Joker, especially all the mad love stuff we get in this episode, so it's just very serendipitous and a really cool kind of throwback look.
Yeah, again, a little corny in places like his lawyer in the trial at the top and the Megan story, but again, Mark Hamill, absolutely the MVP. The production values, again, the taste of Batman the Animated Series in live action, which is just an electrifying feeling. It's a perfect balance of absurdity and genuine menace with what we do with this character. And ultimately, it is a perfect end to a season. I just want to acknowledge where we are and just kind of give you a tease of what season 2 might be like. And if season 2 were like this Trickster episode more often, I think we would, we'd be in great shape. Again, minus the love triangle aspect, which would not be in every episode. So again, it's a nice little kind of look at the series as a whole, and like kind of the last episode. Like, yeah, crazy stuff can happen to the Flash, and also we can throw a guy at you like the Trickster. Like the supervillains are coming. It's going to be fun, and it's sad that we didn't see where it went further, but then again, we had a whole bunch of supervillains in the CW Flash, including the return of the Mark Hamills Trickster. So it's all relative.
All right. Well, happy April Fool's Day, folks. Thanks for joining us in the archives. I'm not really expecting this one to get that much of a viewership, but we just wanted to do it just to round out our trilogy of Flash episodes and Trickster stuff. So, So next year for April Fool's Day, we'll be sure to do something that might be a little bit more attention grabbing.
Well, again, we might have the animated Trickster thing left, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Oh dear God, Dragon! This guy can't be the focal point of all our April Fool's Days, dude. I'm just saying.
Well,
all right. See. Well, that's a discussion for another year. Have a good night, everyone. See you later.
Nobody tricks the Trickster.